Desire is a word often associated with longing, cravings, and materialistic pursuits. In many spiritual traditions, it is considered a hindrance to growth, a distraction from higher consciousness. However, what if I told you that desires, when understood and channeled properly, can become a powerful force for spiritual transformation? It's not about rejecting desire, but transmuting it, using its energy to propel yourself towards your higher self. Today, we'll explore how you can harness the energy of your desires and transform them into spiritual power. Understanding desire. More than a mere longing. Desires are inherent to being human. Whether it's the desire for love, success, recognition, or physical pleasure, these longings are a fundamental part of our existence. But desires can be complex. Some of them stem from ego-driven pursuits, while others arise from a deep soul-level yearning for growth and connection. Desires in their essence are neutral. It is the intention and action behind them that determine whether they serve our higher purpose or bind us to lower energies. When we speak of transforming desires into spiritual power, we are not advocating the denial of all desires. Instead, we are advocating the mindful, conscious channeling of that energy into something that aligns with our spiritual growth. The nature of desire in spiritual teachings. Many spiritual traditions teach that desire is the root of suffering, as seen in Buddhism. The Buddha taught that attachment to desire causes suffering, and that by letting go of these attachments we find peace. But this perspective does not mean desire itself is negative. It's the attachment and craving that lead to suffering, not the desire itself. In Hinduism, desire is called kama, one of the 4 legitimate goals of life, alongside dharma, duty, artha, prosperity, and moksha, liberation. When desire is in harmony with dharma, it is considered a powerful motivator for creativity, love, and even spiritual attainment. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us that by surrendering the fruits of our desires to the divine, we can transform desire into a higher form of devotion and service. Alchemy of Desire, turning base metal into gold. In alchemy, the process of turning base metals into gold was always a metaphor for spiritual transformation. Similarly, desires are like the base metals of our psyche. When left unchecked, they may manifest in lower forms: greed, lust, power struggles. But when we work with them consciously, we can transmute these energies into something divine. The first step in alchemizing desire is awareness. Ask yourself, what do I truly desire, and why? Is it fame? Is it security? Is it love? When you identify the desire, dig deeper. Why do you want it? Often beneath the surface of our desires lies a deeper need, perhaps for connection, validation, or self-empowerment. This deeper understanding opens the door for transformation. When we see the root cause of our desires, we can begin to channel that energy into spiritual practices, shifting our focus from external rewards to internal growth. Seaman Retention, the power of subtle energies. For men, the practice of semen retention offers a profound example of transforming desire into spiritual power. Semen is considered a potent life force in many spiritual traditions, especially in yogic and Taoist teachings. Instead of allowing this life force to dissipate through physical pleasure, one can learn to redirect this energy inward to fuel spiritual growth. Semen retention is not about suppression or denial, but rather mastery. By controlling sexual desire, you conserve vital energy, which can be transformed into higher states of consciousness. Through practices like meditation, breathwork, and mindfulness, this raw, primal energy is channeled into higher chakras, leading to greater mental clarity, emotional stability, and spiritual awareness. Many practitioners report heightened creativity, enhanced focus, and a deeper sense of purpose when engaging in this practice. It's as if the sexual energy, instead of being spent, is reabsorbed and refined into something more powerful, something that fuels the soul rather than just the body, desires as catalysts for growth. Now, let's broaden this principle beyond sexual energy. Any desire, when not acted upon impulsively, holds potential energy. Think of it as a rocket. When the fuel is ignited correctly, it propels the rocket upwards. But if handled recklessly, it explodes and causes damage. Your desires are the fuel, and your spiritual practices are the ignition system that controls and directs the energy. When you feel a strong desire, pause. Don't suppress it, and don't act on it impulsively. Sit with it, meditate on it, and feel the energy it creates within you. This energy is a powerful force, and instead of allowing it to consume you, channel it into a creative or spiritual practice. This could mean writing, meditating, creating art, or engaging in a meaningful conversation. By holding the energy of desire within you without immediately releasing it, you build inner power. The more you practice this, the stronger your ability to harness desire for spiritual growth becomes. Over time, you'll notice that desires no longer control you. Instead, you control them, using them as tools for your evolution. The law of attraction and transmutation of desire. Another framework for understanding the transmutation of desire is through the lens of the law of attraction. The law of attraction teaches that what we focus on, we manifest. However, this is often oversimplified to mean that desiring something intensely will bring it into your life. While there's some truth to that, it's not quite that simple. Manifestation through desire requires alignment. If your desires are purely ego-driven or superficial, the energy they create will not align with higher spiritual forces. But if you align your desires with your soul's purpose, the universe will support you in manifesting those desires. This is because the energy of desire, when in harmony with universal energy, creates a powerful magnetic force that draws similar vibrations toward you. In practical terms, this means aligning your desires with your highest self. Ask yourself, is this desire coming from a place of fear, insecurity, or ego? Or is it coming from a deeper place, a yearning for growth, connection, or love? When your desires align with your soul's purpose, they become a force for spiritual empowerment, rather than a distraction. The practice of letting go. Ironically, one of the most powerful ways to transform desire into spiritual power is by learning to let go. This doesn't mean abandoning your desires, but rather detaching from the outcome. When we become overly attached to the manifestation of our desires, we enter a state of resistance. We try to force things to happen, which only creates tension and blocks the natural flow of energy. Letting go is a practice of trust. Trust that the universe knows what is best for you and will bring the right things into your life at the right time. Trust that your desires, when aligned with your highest good, will manifest in ways that support your growth. This doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you take inspired action without being attached to the outcome. Letting go of attachment frees up tremendous energy. Instead of being consumed by the need to control, you enter a state of flow, allowing your desires to manifest in alignment with the universe's divine timing. This is where true spiritual power lies, not in the forceful pursuit of desire, but in the harmonious alignment with higher consciousness. Desire as a path to self-mastery. Ultimately, the process of transforming desire into spiritual power is a path to self-mastery. It's about learning to understand the deeper currents of your own psyche, mastering your impulses, and using the energy of desire to fuel your spiritual journey. This is not an easy path. It requires discipline, patience, and a deep commitment to personal growth. But the rewards are profound. As you become more adept at transmuting desire into spiritual power, you will notice a shift in your consciousness. Desires that once seemed overwhelming or out of control will no longer have the same hold over you. You will feel a sense of inner peace, knowing that you are in control of your own energy. And with this mastery comes a deeper connection to your higher self, your soul's purpose, and the universal forces that guide us all. Cultivating the practice of mindful desire. To truly harness the power of desire for spiritual growth, mindfulness becomes an essential practice. Mindfulness is about being present with your thoughts, emotions, and desires without immediately acting on them or getting lost in their grip. It creates a space for reflection and understanding, allowing you to see the deeper forces driving your desires. When a desire arises, instead of reacting impulsively, observe it. Feel the sensations in your body, the thoughts in your mind, and the emotions in your heart. Ask yourself, where is this desire coming from? Is it aligned with my highest self? What is the deeper need behind this desire? This self-inquiry, combined with mindfulness, helps you distinguish between surface-level cravings and soul-driven desires. It also allows you to identify desires rooted in fear, insecurity, or societal conditioning, which can then be transformed into opportunities for healing and growth. For instance, the desire for validation might arise from a deeper need to feel worthy or loved. Instead of seeking external approval, you can channel this desire into self-love practices, affirmations, or spiritual work that reinforces your intrinsic value. Similarly, desires driven by fear of scarcity can be transformed through gratitude and trust in the abundance of the universe. Spiritual practices to transmute desire. While mindfulness is key, there are specific spiritual practices that can help transmute the energy of desire into higher states of awareness and power. Let's explore a few of them. 1. Meditation. Meditation is a powerful tool for transmuting desire. It allows you to quiet the mind, observe your desires without attachment, and gain insight into their origins. By sitting with your desires in a meditative state, you can learn to direct that energy inward rather than outward. The energy of longing, when not acted upon impulsively, builds and accumulates within you. This stored energy can then be directed towards spiritual growth, deeper focus, and higher awareness. 2. Breathwork. Breathwork, especially practices like pranayama, helps to move and circulate energy throughout the body. When desires arise, they often create a buildup of energy, particularly in the lower chakras. Through controlled breathing techniques, you can move this energy upward through the spine, channeling it into higher chakras associated with creativity, expression, intuition, and spiritual awakening. For example, the practice of Kundalini breathwork is specifically designed to awaken and raise spiritual energy from the base of the spine to the crown of the head, transmuting sexual or ego-driven desires into spiritual enlightenment. 3. Mantras and affirmations. Mantras are sacred sounds or phrases that carry vibrational frequencies. They can help you reprogram your subconscious mind and align your desires with spiritual principles. When you feel a strong desire, especially one that feels out of alignment with your higher self, using a mantra can help you shift your energy. For instance, the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, is often used to purify and elevate consciousness, turning worldly desires into devotion to the divine. Affirmations, on the other hand, are powerful tools to affirm your alignment with your highest self. When faced with desire, you can use affirmations like, I channel my desires for my highest good, or I trust that my true needs are always met by the universe, to remind yourself of your spiritual power and redirect your focus. 4. Creative expression. The energy of desire is inherently creative. When you feel a surge of desire, instead of allowing it to control you, channel that energy into something creative. Whether it's painting, writing, music, or dance, creative expression allows you to transmute desire into something tangible, beautiful, and meaningful. Through this process, the raw energy of desire becomes a medium for spiritual growth and self-expression. For example, sexual energy can be transformed into art, poetry, or movement that reflects your soul's essence rather than just physical gratification. In this way, your desires become a tool for deepening your connection with your inner self and the world around you. 5. Service to others. One of the most profound ways to transmute desire is through service. When we shift our focus from personal gain to the well-being of others, we align ourselves with the energy of unconditional love and compassion. The desire for personal achievement can be redirected towards collective upliftment, allowing you to use your talents, resources, and energy for the greater good. In spiritual traditions like Bhakti Yoga, service is considered a form of devotion that purifies the heart and transforms ego-driven desires into love for the divine. By serving others, we dissolve the boundaries of self-centered desires and merge with the flow of universal love, which is the highest form of spiritual power. Transcending duality, desire and spirituality. As one another aspect to consider is that the division between desire and spirituality is, in many ways, an illusion. The spiritual path is not about rejecting desires but integrating them into your spiritual practice. Desire, at its core, is the energy of life itself. Without desire, there is no movement, no growth, no creation. The key is to understand that desire is not separate from your spiritual journey. It is a vital part of it. When you stop viewing desires as distractions or obstacles, and instead see them as opportunities for spiritual mastery, you transcend duality. This is the essence of Tantra, a spiritual tradition that teaches that everything in life, including desire, can be a path to enlightenment when approached with awareness and reverence. In Tantra, desires are seen as expressions of the divine. By embracing them without attachment and channeling them mindfully, you can use desire as a means of connecting with the sacred. The energy of desire becomes the fuel for spiritual awakening, rather than something to be feared or suppressed. This non-dual approach encourages you to see desire as part of the divine play of existence. When you honor your desires as sacred and align them with your soul's purpose, you become a co-creator with the universe. Your desires are no longer something to be controlled or resisted. They become a source of spiritual empowerment. The path of discipline and freedom. It's important to acknowledge that transforming desires into spiritual power requires discipline. Without discipline, desires can easily lead us astray, pulling us into lower states of consciousness. But discipline, when applied with love and awareness, leads to true freedom. Discipline doesn't mean rigid self-denial. It means cultivating the inner strength to choose consciously how you respond to your desires. Through practices like meditation, mindfulness, breathwork, and service, you develop the capacity to hold the energy of desire without being overwhelmed by it. This is the path of the spiritual warrior, the path of self-mastery. With time and practice, this discipline leads to a profound sense of freedom. You are no longer enslaved by your desires. Instead, you are empowered by them. You can choose to engage with your desires in ways that uplift and expand your consciousness, rather than diminish it. This is true liberation, the freedom to live in alignment with your highest self, using the energy of desire as a force for good. Final thoughts. The transformation of desires into spiritual power is not about suppression or denial. It's about awareness, intention, and mastery. Desires, when understood and channeled correctly, are a powerful force for personal and spiritual growth. Whether through practices like Seaman Retention, creative expression, or the law of attraction, you can harness the energy of your desires to elevate yourself to higher states of consciousness. Embrace your desires, not as distractions or obstacles, but as opportunities for transformation. By aligning them with your soul's purpose, you tap into a wellspring of spiritual power that can fuel your journey toward enlightenment and self-mastery. Yes, you can transform desires into spiritual power, and in doing so you will unlock a deeper, more profound connection to your higher self and the universe.